Hey guys, so today is going to be a really fun video, I think, and I'm going to be talking about like my auto-buy authors that I absolutely love, and when a new book of theirs comes out, I just have to buy. So what kind of inspired this was this past week or 2 weeks ago, a lot of my favorite authors were coming out with books, which is including Sophie Lark and Penelope Douglas, so that kind of inspired this video, and I just wanted to kind of gush about some of my favorite authors and share some of them with you, because I feel like I talk a lot about some of their books, but not all of my favorite authors. I kind of sometimes talk about the same authors, so I wanted to kind of give you some variety of some people I really like. So I have you know, historical romance authors, indie romance authors, and a couple of traditionally published. I'm just looking at my list. I have been a little bit of MIA from BookTube. I was on vacation, so I took a little break, and it was super relaxing. I went to Florida, and it was super nice, and just lounged on the beach and just chilled. It was amazing. I also got my new bookshelves. They're gorgeous. Let me know if you wanted me to do a book tour, a bookshelf tour, because I would totally be down for that. Okay, so let's dive right into this. So one of the first authors that I just absolutely love is Kennedy Ryan. She has just written so many books that I love. The Kingmakers series / duet is one of my favorites. Queen Move is a great one. I loved Real. That one was really good, and I need to read like the Still series, or the Grip series. So I really love her books. She writes a lot of you know, very heavy and emotional books, but they're worth the read. Like I absolutely just love her books. They enrapture you, and just you get so sucked into the stories of them, and I just love them so much. And they all have a lot of depth and backstory. I know she does a ton of research for her books and what goes into them, so I really appreciate that about her as an author. So one of my other favorites is Kristen Becca Ritchie, of course. I talk about the Addicted series so much on this channel because I love them. They just create such amazing characters, so many amazing stories, and I love them so much. They just make me fall in love with any character they write so far, and I love them. I love them, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future, especially with the Like Us series, because I'm really excited to see you know, what they're going to include and what kids are going to be with what people. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, like all of the characters like Lauren, Lo, Reich, and Connor, they're all like top book boyfriends for me. If I had to choose, I couldn't, because I just love all of them. Like if there was just a combination of one of them, all of them together in one person, that'd be the perfect book boyfriend for me, because I love Reich's protectiveness and just how much he, you know, takes care of Daisy and how much he cares about her. I love Lo. He can make anybody laugh and just makes Lily feel so comfortable. And I love Connor. He just knows Rose and just knows her down to a T, and he just loves her so much, and I love that. So, okay, so the next author is absolutely one of my faves, and that's Gianna Darling. I absolutely love this author so much. She is an incredible writer, and I just love her so much, and I can't wait to see what new book she's going to write. I can't wait for Caution to the Wind. I'm going to reread the whole series for that release, which is the 7th book in the Fall of Men series, and that's probably her most popular series. It's a motorcycle romance series, and it's absolutely amazing, and I just love her. I love her so much. She's just such an amazing person. Her writing is beautiful, and I just love her so much. So the Fall of Men series is one of my faves from her. The first book is so good. It's an age gap teacher romance, and so the Heroine is the older one in this age gap, which I love. And then the rest of them are like the second books, an age gap, forbidden romance, and they're just all so good. I also love her Mafia duet, When Heroes Fall, or no, Anti-Heroes in Love duet. It is just, it's so good. Dante is like my forever hero. I love him so much. So definitely go check her out if you haven't already. And definitely get into the Follow Men series if you like dark romance and motorcycle romance, because you're going to want to do that before the new book comes out, because you'll just want to binge it all. So of course I had to put Penelope Douglas on this. She's fantastic. I found her books. She was one of the first authors that I really got into reading romance with, and my first book from her was Bully, and I just fell, you know, head over heels for her writing and her characters, like Jared and Tate. Literally, guys, I'm gonna name my daughter, if I ever have one, which hopefully I do, because I really do want a daughter, and, you know, whatever, but she will be named Tatum, and her nickname will be Tate. I know that's what's gonna happen, because I just love that name. I love that character. And all of her books are just so amazing. She has so many different books. She has the Fall Away series, which is new adult, kind of college, a little bit of bullying romance in some of them, and they're super fun. Then she has, if you want a little bit darker, the Corrupt series, which is so good. It's a little bit darker. Love it. It has some like secret society stuff, and some creepy things happen on in that, especially towards Halloween. She has like, she probably wrote one of the first, get with the boyfriend's dad romance, which is Birthday Girl, and so I just absolutely love her so much. She's fantastic. I can't wait to read Fall Out Boys. I'm like dying to read it. I just got my copy. There will be a book haul coming soon for my March book haul, because I'm doing a reading vlog for it with some other books, so definitely look out for that. Okay, so next is Marina Zapata. She is definitely one of my favorite authors ever, and a total Audible author. I just bought, because I had a copy of All Roads Lead Here, and it got kind of messed up, so I bought another copy, because I'm like, I love that book so much. I want it in perfection. So she writes a lot of like slow burn, so a lot of them are age gap, some of them are sports romances, and her writing, and it's big chunky books, like 500 pages, and she'll keep you waiting till like the last like 150 pages when they finally get together, and it's just so worth the wait. Her writing keeps you enraptured the whole time. She's just such an amazing writer. She's hilarious. It's easy to follow. I know when I read one of her books, I'm gonna enjoy it. And one of my favorites is Wait For It. Yeah, Wait For It. That is a neighbor's romance, and it's so good. Single mom neighbor's romance. I absolutely love that one. It's so good. Colty is definitely one of my favorites. I read that when I was just getting into romance, and it's absolutely incredible. I need to do a reread of it, because it's just so freaking good. I love her so much. And so the next person I'm going to share with you is Sophie Lark. The Savage just came out, and I'm dying to read it. I cannot freaking wait. And she writes dark romance, mafia romance, lot of just dark stuff. And one of my favorites from her, she wrote this like dark Hogwarts inspired college mafia romance series, where it follows the kids of another series by her, but they're all mafia kids, and they're training to be the next mafia leaders, and so they go to this special school on this island, and it's very like a gothic Hogwarts inspired school. They have like trials like in Harry Potter, and it's really good. I absolutely loved it. It's dark, it's steamy, it's incredible. Her other series, like the Brutal Birthright series, that's the parents of the kids in the Kingmaker series, and that one is just mafia. Like the first book is A Marriage of Convenience, and the heroine poisons the hero on their wedding day, and it's so good. It's hate to love. It's so incredible. I just love her so much. And I watched, actually, you should go check this out if you love Sophie Lark or Gianna Darling. Gianna did a live show with Sophie, and it was very interesting to hear them talk about, you know, writing and being an author and just kind of like female sexuality and how, you know, a lot of the time romance is put down, and because, you know, predominantly women are reading romance. And, you know, something that they brought up that was really interesting was that, you know, nobody blinks an eye when, you know, men watch porn or whatever, and women kind of read it and they get, you know, bothered by it. So I find, like, it was very interesting. It was a very good live show. I found it really interesting. I watched the whole thing. I like hooked it up to my TV. But if you found that interesting and you love both of them, I would totally go watch it. So I really enjoyed it, and it had a lot of interesting like insights, especially into what kind of goes on into an author, and they made a lot of good points about the book community and stuff. So I highly recommend going to watch that video. I think it's on Gianna's Instagram, but it's really good. So the next author that I want to talk about is TJ Klune. I love him so much. So he writes more, I wouldn't say his books are super steamy, but they're very impactful and very emotional, especially the Green Creek series, which is a kind of Twilight inspired romance series, where it's if like Twilight was with werewolves, and it's absolutely incredible. The first book is amazing. It's an age gap romance, friends to lovers, but there's a lot of emotion and heartache in it, and it's so incredible. I highly recommend. And then he wrote a book called In the House in the Cerulean Sea, and that one, it's a romance, but not very heavily on the romance. It's more of like a found family aspect. That one is absolutely incredible. I need to read more of his books, and I hope he publishes more like adult romances, like the Green Creek series, because I really like it, but I think he's focusing more right now on YA books, so I hope we'll get more into not dark romance, I meant more adult romance, because I really enjoy those. Okay, so a new author that I kind of found in the last year was Colleen Hoover. I read maybe someday a while ago and really liked it, but then I just kind of put her off for a little bit. And then I read Verity, and then I read It Ends With Us, and I just fell in love with her writing. I cannot wait for the sequel to It Ends With Us, and I'm so excited to read that. And but I've heard a lot of her newer books aren't as good as her past work, like Ugly Love and November 9th and stuff, so I'm kind of nervous about that. But I really liked writing. Like, Verity is still stuck in my mind, and It Ends With Us I absolutely loved. It's just all incredible, and I really like her writing. I think it's very impactful and interesting the way she writes and the stories she tells, and I think they're very worth like reading. So I really like hers, and I can't wait to read Reminders of Him. I still need to read that. Okay, so another one that is amazing is Callia Reed. I love this author. I discovered her in 2019. I read The Surviving Trace, and it's a time travel historical romance. Our heroine, she's a historian, and she finds this photograph, and she accidentally time travels into that time, and she like wakes up and she finds out she's married to this man, and he hates his wife, but she switched places with this woman that's like a doppelganger of her, and so she's trying to convince the husband, whose name is Etienne, that she is not his wife, and they end up falling in love, and it's incredible. And I just loved it so much. Her writing was so beautifully written. It was just incredible. And then she has another series kind of off of the Surviving Trace series, and it's still in that same world, and it's in like I think South Carolina, and it's in like the 10s and 1920s, 1930s, that kind of time period, and it's really interesting, and I really enjoy it. And she is coming out with the second book soon, To Lady Goldian, which is incredible. But I love her writing because it's so angsty. and it's very descriptive and kind of takes you back into that world. And she does a lot of research for her books, and her plots are really interesting. She always has something going on, like a mystery throughout the book, especially with her Surviving Trace series. There was a mystery with Serene's like family, something like was altered and during time travel or something like that, and it was really interesting. I really love her. So I can't wait for her new book to come out. Definitely go check her out. I think she's on Kindle Unlimited, but I definitely need to read more of her other books because they're so good. She's so good, and I can't wait to read more from her. Okay, so this one is a very popular author, but I have no regrets, and that's Sarah J. Maas. I first read A Court of Thorns and Roses and actually really hated it because I was so mad. I was like, is this going to be a love triangle? But if you know, you know. And then when A Court of Silver Flames came out, so I read A House of Earth and Blood, House of Earth and Blood, I think that's what it's called. Oh my gosh, my brain is going crazy. And I just love that book so much. I was like, maybe I should give it another try. So I reread A Court of Thorns and Roses, absolutely loved it. Then I read the rest of the series and absolutely loved it. So I still need to read her, what is it called? Throne of Glass series. And actually Jen from the Book Refuge is doing a readathon for her books, which is super exciting. So I'm going to participate in that so I can read the Throne of Glass series because I really want to. So she writes like fantasy, fae, goodness, and I love her writing so much. She is incredible. I also love Jessica Hawkins, but she is definitely not for everyone. She writes lots of her books have love triangles in them, and I personally love love triangles. I think it adds a lot of angst and trouble in a relationship and story, and I find them really interesting, so I really enjoy her books. What my favorite series probably from her, she wrote a love triangle romance, and it's a Mexican cartel romance, and our heroine, she is dating this soldier of her father's, and then this the long lost soldier's brother comes back in the picture, and she thinks that he killed her mother, and we don't know if that's true, and so she hates him. He's back in the picture. He has his own territory now, and it's really good, super angsty, super action-packed. And then she has a series called Something in the Way that's super emotional. I cried like a bajillion times reading this series. It was so emotional. And I was like, why can't they just be together? Like, I need them to be together. It's lots of longing. It spans over years. It's an incredible series. Highly recommend, but it will she makes you work for the romance. And it's an age gap, love triangle between our heroine, her sister, and the hero, and it's really good. I absolutely love it. So much longing, so much angst, and very emotional. Okay, so this author I love, and she's a Bixby, shut up! This author is definitely a darker author in the romance aspect, and that's Tilly Cole. I really love Tilly Cole. I think she's such a funny, fun person. I used to watch her Instagram stories all the time because she likes to talk a lot, and I would just watch her, and she's so cute with her British accent, and I'd be like, oh, I love you, Tilly. And she writes darker romances. She writes one of her most popular series is a motorcycle romance series. She has a serial killer series where all of them were tortured by like priests when they were younger because the priests thought they were like archangels or made from the devil or something like that. And so they're all very damaged heroes, and they have some stuff going on with them. One of them is obsessed with death. Another, I think, was like a cannibalist. I don't really remember because I read that a while ago, but that one's really good. She has a mafia series, but some of her books though are super dark. Like, I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna say the whole title, but you know, her book, it starts with like sick, and did not like that one. It was a little too dark. Like, this might be a little bit of spoilery, but I think you should know definitely going into the book. It's not that spoilery, but anyways, our heroine deals with a lot of sexual assault and rape, and we get some like first-hand scenes of it, like we're reading it, what happens to her, but she's like very, very young, like 10, 9. It's really bad. I just really didn't like that, and it made me really uncomfortable. But she definitely has some darker ones for people who like that, and some lighter, darker ones for people who like that, and I just really enjoy her stories, and she can write really cute, sweet romances too, like 1,000 Boy Kisses. That one's so sad though, but it's really cute. So another author that I love is Helen Huang. She's written 3 books now, I think. She's only written in that one series, but I really enjoy her books. They're really fun, and I love the family aspect of it. I don't know what the series is called, but the newest one, oh gosh, I can't remember. The Bride Test is in one of them. That's the second book. I really like that one. But it revolves around this whole family. The first one is like an escort and our heroine, and she's trying to figure out how to like be affectionate because she isn't really, and she wants to learn how to be, I think. I read that a couple years ago, but I really like her books, and every time she has a new release in the series, I buy it, and I love it. So I would definitely check her out. Some of her stories, though, are a lot more heartier and emotional, but very worth, I guess, the emotional toll on it. Okay, so another author that I really love is Katie Robert. I'm on her Patreon, so every time she has a new book come out, I just get it automatically, which is really nice, and I love her Patreon. If you love Katie Robert, I definitely recommend going on her Patreon. And she writes lots of different books. I really love that about her. She has so much variety, but you can always find some steaminess in her books. She writes mafia romances. She writes, one of her most popular series is kind of a play on like the Disney characters. Like, the first book is like Jasmine and Jafar, and it's very like kinky and very steamy. It has some daddy kink in it, if you like that. And the second book is like Hercules, Hades, and Meg, yes. And that one's really good. Her series are really fun. She has an Olympus series with like Hades and Persephone, and I really enjoy her books. I think they're really fun, and she has some like short novellas that are just like pure steaminess and smut that I really like, so definitely go check her out. Her newest book is called The Dragon's Bride. It's a monster romance, and I read it, and it was so good. Then the next author that I wanted to talk about was Laura Thalassa. She writes more fantasy books, and anytime a new book comes from her, comes out, I automatically buy it because I really enjoy her books. One of her most popular series is called it's called the Four Horsemen series, and it is of course about the 4 horsemen. The first is called Pestilence, and it's a hate to love, kind of like kidnappy romance. She tries to kill him, the heroine, a bunch of times because he's kind of destroyed the world and destroying humanity, and he really takes a liking to her and isn't afraid of her trying to kill him. So I just love her so much, and she wrote another series called the Bargainer series, and that's like a fae romance with a siren. That one's really fun, and she's coming out with a new one that sounds so amazing. It deals with witches, and I think the heroine accidentally wakes up this like really powerful person, and he's really dangerous, and that's a hero, and he is like instantly like, I want you, or something like that. But it sounds really good, so I'm excited for that. So now I'm going to talk about some historical authors that I really love. One is Lorraine Heath. I definitely have discovered her this past year, and I just love her writing so much. She writes just amazing, I think, historicals, and she has lots of different variety. She has more emotional ones, more sweet ones, and I just really love her books, and I fall in love with her writing, and some of them are very action-packed and have a really big storyline in them, which I liked. Of course, another one is Lisa Kleypas. Her heroes are just so swooning to die for. Like Derek Craven, he's incredible. I love him so much. And just Cam is one of my favorites also. And Sebastian, I just love her heroes. They're so swoony, and the love stories are so angsty and amazing. A new author that I love, but the story is not old or anything. It's Diana Gabaldon. I've recently discovered her. I have always watched the Outlander show, but I decided this year I need to read the books. So I read Outlander this past month and absolutely loved it. Her writing is just so amazing, and even better in the book. Of course it is. But, you know, some authors, they're hyped so much because people like certain things in it, and sometimes they're not as great as authors or writers, but Diana Gabaldon definitely is, and so I just love her so much. And I, of course, bought all of the Outlander books because I love the show and I love the series and I want to continue on reading. And then the last author I wanted to share with you was QB Tyler. She is kind of a newer author to me. She writes a lot more forbidden romances, which I really like. Her newest release was a stepsister and stepbrother romance, and I'm really excited to read it. I've heard amazing things. She's written one about a ward and a guardian. There was one that she wrote that's very angsty, I heard, and very emotional, where our hero and heroine are about to get a divorce, and our hero, he gets amnesia and he forgets like the past like 3 years and still thinks that his marriage is a happy marriage, and still like the way he thought it was, you know, before. And so I really need to read that because it sounds amazing. But that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I love all of these authors so much. And I can't wait to see what they're going to bring this year with new books. Definitely down below let me know your auto-buy authors because I would love to know. I'm always on the hunt for new authors and new books to read. So definitely let me know, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.